In today's video, I'm going to show you how to perfect landing on a planet. This tutorial is best for new commanders, but if you're looking to see if maybe there's something you didn't know about, then stick around. Greetings commanders, if you're new here, I am KreeKree and I'm an Elite Dangerous YouTuber and streamer. Speaking of, catch me live on twitch.tv/KreeKree. I'm live from 11 AM Thursdays to Saturdays Australian Eastern Standard Time. So obviously you're here to perfect your landing and I will help you with that. I'll be going through finding landable planets, checking their gravity, which is very important, and I'll get into the reason why a bit later, and I'll be going over how to launch from a planet and get back into Super Cruise. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you are actually going to a planet that is landable. So one way to find out is to go into your system map. Okay. Now, as you can see here, that there are some planets here that have blue lines around them and some that do not. So the ones that do have the blue lines, they are landable. And also you'll find that with some of these planets that have the blue lines, they also usually have another 3 blue lines that are vertical on top of this blue line here. So that indicates that there is a base of some sort there. Now, what you could do is that just to see if you can find exactly where the base is, you have it selected and you scroll in using your mouse wheel as far as you can go, and then you'll be able to see around the planet somewhere there'll be a yellow symbol indicating that that is a base. So there's no base here, but if there was one, you'd be able to see it, and you'll be able to target it from here as well, just by clicking it. One thing that you will notice as well is that if you have used your detail surface scanner on a planet, then it's not going to show up through this view where the biological and geological finds are. It only applies for the bases. Now, another thing is that if you've been to a system before and you want to have a look at the system without actually being in there, you can have a look at the system via the galaxy map. Now, if you were to say, for example, if I had been to this system here, then it would come up with another section here that looks like a system symbol, which is like this symbol here. But because I haven't been here before, I don't have the system data. But with this one, because I do, right here, you can click into it and it takes you straight to the system. Okay, now before you do actually go and land on this planet, then you'll need to definitely check the gravity. Checking the gravity is important. Probably just as important as subscribing to this channel. You might even reach elite status faster, who knows? Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, that's right, gravity. Okay, so now what you do is that once you have the planet selected, careful not to touch any of the others, so you go to this tab here, whereas typically you would be on this one, so going to the one with the 4 lines, and you can see down here that it has gravity and it's 0.32, which is quite low. So it's pretty safe to go land on. If it is higher, so 1 or more, then you'll need to be more careful the higher the number. So not only does it show the gravity, it also shows other details, like for example, the biological and geological features on the planet, the Earth mass, radius, surface temperature, volcanism, etc. Also, I'd like to mention that you'll notice as well that even your navigation tab where you have the list of locations, you'll notice that with some of these there is a symbol on top of a planet. Kind of looks like a sidewinder. That shows there as well that that is also a landable planet. Now, because we're close enough, we're going to go and find this destination for this biological signal. So one thing that you should do is that don't come in too fast, and you kind of want to go at the planet a bit more horizontal as opposed to nosediving to the target. So sometimes going down and then up again to get the right angle works really well. So now I'm going to speed up until I am in the blue, usually a good speed to be at. You'll notice that the HUD has changed so that it shows distance to the surface, similar to, you know, flight sims and things like that. Drop zone, here we go, dropping from orbital cruise, light engaged. Alright, so it will go to a maximum of 2,500, that's normal. So one thing that you'll notice as well is that if you are to land somewhere that is high G, then being as horizontal as possible really helps. Otherwise, the gravity will end up pushing you down if you're too vertical, and it definitely won't be fun for you, because if you die, any data that you have collected dies with you, and you have to pay for your rebuy. So it's a pain in the ass. I've got my landing gear out. I'm about 1.44 kilometers from the surface. Now I'll kind of go down a bit slowly. I'm gonna stay around 60, 50 as I go down, and then obviously slowing down the further down I go. Okay, now once you reach about 150 meters from the surface, that's when the HUD will tell you whether or not you're on suitable terrain or not. There you go. If you do try to land too fast, you will lose shields. If you don't have any shields, then you're definitely going to damage your hull. You don't want to do that. Okay, there we go. It should come up and say that the ship is secured, so you're successfully landed on the planet. Now, what we'll do now is taking off. So I use the key F, which is my default key, to lower my ship. Now, to release from the surface of the planet, my key is R. Should be your default key as well if you use keyboard and mouse. So you just hold that, wait for that to come up, and then there you go. So now you're automatically going up. Make sure that your landing gear is put away. And you'll notice that I'm mass locked to the planet, like you would be to a station before you can leave. So you'll need to angle up, go full speed, put pips to engine if you'd like to, if you need extra power. And then you can also boost. I like to boost. There we go, mass lock is gone. Now we can get into Super Cruise. Now you do heat up, but don't panic. Your ship can handle it, it's totally fine. Also, if you're not at a good enough angle, there will be a line with escape vector. You'll need to angle your ship up that way. And then you can leave. Now, same with before with landing on a planet, you don't want to be too vertical when leaving the planet as well for high G worlds, because it's the same thing there where the gravity will simply just push you to the surface. So even though you're trying to leave and you might boost, if it's high enough, it will still make you drop. You now have the knowledge for landing on and taking off a planet. Obviously, like everything, practice makes perfect. Anyway, here's a video YouTube thinks you'll like. See you over there, and fly safe, Commander.